What I've been studying is 40 bigs.
Perfect. Welcome to tonight's study session, everyone. Today, we're going to start a new series and we're going to spend the next few weeks working through pre-flop range construction. Why we get into pots based on our risk from the players behind us and how our range changes based on how many players are yet to act and why we kind of have that and how we can work that out and figure out what hands we want to play with and what hands we want to three bet with. Because one of the biggest mistakes that people make at poker is not having a risk relative range. And what does that mean? Well, we're going to take a look at it here. Right now, the button, who's last to act before the blinds, only has two people behind him. Think of it as two crocodiles in the river, right? If you think of pocket aces as crocodiles, the hand you want to avoid and get running into at all cost, there's only two people who can have that. And so the button is opening nearly half his range. As we continue around here, the cutoff opens less. Why? Because there's three crocodiles behind him now. The hijack opens less. Four crocodiles and less, more crocodiles, and this poor schmo has to swim the river with a pile of crocodiles. So this person only wants to play with the very best hands. Now, I'm kind of clicking through some buttons here, and we'll take a look at what those relative positions are. So the button has only the two blinds to act behind him. The cutoff has the button and two blinds to act. The hijack and the low jack and under the gun one have more and more people to act behind them when they choose to get in a pot. Now, some people say, well, what good is kind of figuring out my range? Because my opponents don't all play these type of ranges. Well, as we saw, there were tighter ranges and looser ranges. So if you know that your opponent is a very tight player and does not put it in without the best of hands, when you study how to play against an under the gun player's range, and you know that there's a very tight player in the hijack, you could kind of extrapolate how to play against this tight player in the hijack based on how you would play against an under the gun or under the gun one range. So studying how to play against different ranges helps us to understand how to play against different players, right? For example, if there's a very, very loose player who's under the gun and who's opening almost 50% of hands, well, that guy's going to have a construction that's going to be very much like the buttons range is. And so that person is going to be wide, and you're going to be able to three bet that person a lot wider than you normally would be able to three bet a person who's under the gun. So as we work through the range construction, it's setting us up for how to learn to play exploitatively later on. Now, back to here. 40 big blinds, button, raise first in. So everyone is folded to us. If you look here, the way that I structure how to figure out what to play is based off of two numbers. It is based off of the offsuit line that plays most of the hands or all of the hands, and the suited line that plays most of the hands or all of the hands. And so for me, the button is eights offsuit and fives suited. Now, how can you possibly remember eights and fives, and how can you remember that for all the different positions? So the nice thing about numeric representation is that you can use different things in your life to memorize this block of hands. So for me, former Winnipeg Blue Bomber great, the football star, Milt Stegall, or the number 85. So when I'm playing poker 40 big blinds deep on the button, Milt Stiegel is sitting in that spot. And so then I remember 85. You also get to have a few more hands along the pair axis, because making straights and flushes are easier with connected cards than with more cards that have bigger gaps between them. And making bigger flushes is more important and more valuable, particularly as you get deeper in chip stacks.
Increased
And-
ratings.
Yep. Along here, you're calling with your eights, 9-8, 10-8, Jack-8, Queen-8. Well, King-8 and Ace-8 are just a little bit better. And so you get to sneak in a few extra kings and a few extra aces when you want to construct your range. And the same thing happens here, right? We're in here with the worst fives, 8-5 and 9-5. 10-4, Jack-3, and Queen-Deuce, they sneak in here a little bit. But the idea is that your best high cards get to play a little bit wider than your base range construction. Now, how do you change that when you move around the table? Today, we'll look at the button and the cutoff. And so the cutoff, their range, their block of range consists of the offsuit nines and the suited sixes, right? And a little bit of 96 starts to fold, but it's still in here, you can play it. So the idea is that if you can memorize this block of hands and know that you get a few more suited aces and kings, a few more cards that can make straights and flushes, and a few extra aces and kings that are offsuits, you're going to do really well constructing your range based on the risk of how many players are behind you. Now, I will leave it to everyone else's imagination as to what number could come up with a 6 and a 9 in it, and what type of creative person you could wind up with in the cutoff seat. So the range construction, 85, cutoff, 69, 96, whatever you want to go with there. So those are some mental ways to help you remember what the range construction is going to look like. As we go around here, we can see that it is 7s and 10s. And so for me, I always think of this as the kingpin who goes bowling and makes a 7-10 split. Woody Harrelson, classic movie, right? And that continues along. But I won't want to spoil next week's range construction spots. So without further ado, we'll do a quick little bit of range training to try and see if we can guess the heuristic and measure out what our opening hands are going to be. And then we're going to have a little fun with the solver afterwards, playing some hands. So here we go. King 4. Is this one in our button opening range?
No,
Nope. Too loose?
king. I do as high as king 8. I cut out my king 7.
Okay. But so long as you're getting your line here where you're attacking with your offsuit 8s and your suited 5s, you're going to get most of it. And if you know that you can get a little frisky, maybe you find some king 7, some king 6. You're
Okay.
really savage,
I
king
honestly
5.
I honestly don't open the king 7 either, but that's
How
it's in-
much?
it's in range, but I don't usually.
Okay, listen, y'all. I was actually in a coaching thing, database thing, and how much do you lose when you fold the button? Every time you fold the button, how much do you lose?
I mean, I'd guess a half a big blind.
No, it's point
More.
1-2 because the ante, but it's a lot because it's significant because otherwise you're actually winning and going. So yeah, about half a big blind because you go from 0.12 negative to 0.12 positive when you open the correct range. So
Yeah.
it's about a quarter of a big blind every time you do the wrong open and skip the open that you're supposed to open.
Okay. Good
All
to
right.
know.
Which would
pretty
be
reasonable.
2.5 big blinds per 100.
Now, is this 75 going to meet our criteria and get in the pot?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Viv is in. Are we going to have to play a hand with this 75? Oh, well,
Nope.
You
Now-
know what? I want to fold.
He's got pocket threes, call.
You know
He might have
what?
pocket-
You could do that, but I don't think it's that smart.
No, I'm not
Wow.
calling.
so this is a good spot here to take a quick look at GTO Wizard and how
But
it
you do have to
defends its
call.
range.
A lot sometimes. I think ace 10 off. Oh, I was correct. Ace 10 off. Let's go.
Mhm. So it wants to defend here with these suited kings.
Oh, it's so weird
Um,
that it likes king 10, but it doesn't like king jack. It likes queen 10 suited. And I think it's because where they're theoretically bluffing.
Yes, if we take a look at the stuffing range for
They're-
the big blind,
They're king, jack, queen, jack, right? Pairs.
these hands, right, are their value. And so, right, we don't want to have queen jack here. Right, because we get into a spot where we are super dominated by their value.
And so it's folding the king queen off too.
So, yeah, so when the other heuristic, when you're at the bottom of your range, it's always an easy fold. And we'll get to that too when we look at three betting, because the more three betting that we do,
If you
the more
call
we
here
have to
with
be
7-5,
aware.
with 7-5 suited, you lose 8.5 big blinds. And people
Yep.
do that on ignition sometimes.
Sure. Just about. Yeah, when we go into the three bet training, when we take a look at this range construction idea, it's important to know that three betting a hand, you're going to have a decision where you're going to three bet as a bluff or as a value. And your value is going to continue to defend and your bluffs are going to continue to fold. So this one looks like it's going to raise.
Oh yeah, the other thing I was failing at was three betting from the big blind versus the button. And so I think that if I do it under what I should do it, then I think population also does it under what they should be doing.
All right, we have an ace king and we've seen a flop here. Who wants to volunteer to navigate this hand for a while?
I want to check. Wait, no, I think it's checking is good. But you
Yeah,
can
I'm
also
check-
bet, but I think check's best.
Yeah, I'm checking at least half the time. I'm flipping a coin here, really. Mental coin in my head, whether I'm gonna bet or check. I do a lot of checking here.
Oh,
Okay.
I want a mental dice in my head. That'd be cool.
All right. Checking is not a thing here.
You need a
You
mental
can
dice.
check, But
It
the
is a thing.
heuristic is that it
What are you
wants
talking
to
about? Not
bet.
a thing. It's 22% a thing.
But that also means
Betting
that it's
7.6 is not a thing.
78%.
Going all in is not a
I
thing.
think we're betting more because we had the diamond and the spade, so we block back doors pretty heavily as well. That we'll want to check raise, so.
Mhm.
But if we
We're
have like a
also-
club and a diamond or something, I think it'll check more.
Mhm.
Peter, it
The-
says I can do whatever I want here except for bet 1.2, 7.6, or 37.7.
You're right. You can pretty much do whatever you want with these things, but the general heuristic is that it wants to bet, right? 25% so this size, 20% this size, 25% this size.
And 22% of the checking size.
Yeah.
And that's betting zero, so it's still betting. You're betting zero though.
But it does prefer the double check mark slightly more.
Yeah. Right? But it's okay to check here. We wind up in this spot.
Can you
get-
open a flop range to see if I'm just really curious if my thought process is right about the diamonds and the spades wanting to bet more because it blocks back doors. I wonder if we
Okay.
check more if we have like an ace of clubs. king or
Sure, we'll
whatever.
take a look at the ace of clubs, ace of hearts as a contrast to that one.
Ace of clubs, like king of hearts or something.
So you can see, ace of clubs, king of hearts wants to bet less,
Yeah.
right? It wants to bet when it doesn't have a club, particularly the ace of clubs, right? So all of these combos want to primarily bet,
So just bet
but
'em.
checking is also a pretty reasonable part of the strategy here.
Looks like it's good to bet them all.
Okay, the 10. And they check again.
Check.
Are we checking?
This is
Yeah,
Viv's
wants to
hand,
check.
right?
Yeah, Viv, what do you think?
She's gone.
Oh no, I was muted out. Anyway, this
Oh.
is why I get in trouble. So I don't think you need a bet here. I think maybe on a royalty card you can bet. But I do think that you do have to bluff catch if you double check. You have to bluff catch sometimes.
Okay, so are you
But-
checking here?
I would say maybe let's say okay, let's do percentages since we're gonna go crazy. Okay, so I
Sure.
would say we'll do a 60% check, and then if we bet, it's gonna be bigger. So I would say 60% check, and then
I'd say
5.05
100%
for 30%, and 3.35 it might bet sometimes.
All right, so primarily checking.
Oh my god, I hate you, Cammy.
Sorry,
has
I
her
can't
eyes
help
on
it that I'm
the
always right.
You're not always right. You know what?
I'm joking, Jesus.
I was trying to be creative, Cammy, you know?
No, there's no check in there.
Check
I mean,
in the
there's no
bet.
betting, sorry.
All right, Viv, are you bluff catching here? This nice 4-liner board.
5, 6, 7, 8. So the 9 is the 4-liner.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I don't think we actually have to on this board. Like, I think if there was a 10 or like a 5 or like a deuce, a 3, I would bluff catch, but I think we can fold here and still defend our range fine.
Okay,
But I think I think we might bluff catch some other. Like we have enough. We have 9s. We have 8s.
Straights, nines is straight.
Yeah, I'm
23
saying
cards
I
beat
think
us.
we can fold this safely
Yeah.
on this card.
so we're
I
gonna
got
get
one
here.
right. I got one right.
We're gonna get here with enough hands where we have a 5 or a 7 that's checked a couple of times, and so. But yeah, very
No,
spicy.
no need to buff catch with that.
Are you bluff catching with pocket
I
2?
said it was a fold.
You were right.
Yep, and 2s and 3s also fold, right? We just have enough 5s and 7s to get.
No, I said if the river card was a 2 or a 10, I think those are probably the ones, or like a 2, 10 or 5, I would bluff catch.
Sure. Oh, it just has a straight.
Yeah,
not lose our
I folded, right? Or did it
Did.
show a card? It showed what they had after we folded.
All right,
Oh,
suited 6. So we're definitely gonna have that
Raise.
in our raising range.
I like this hand.
You were talking about it earlier.
Oh, well, it's at the
She
bottom
was.
of range. Do we
Viv.
call it off?
No,
All right.
Come on,
good job.
Viv.
but you only lose five big blinds, which is only 500 big blinds per 100 for calling off 8 high, while you will lose 800 for calling off the 7 high. That's
Yep.
useless information though.
We
Oh my
got a nice
gosh, you didn't give me a
suited
chance
8.
to click fold or all in.
And what's gonna happen? We get a call and post flop.
I think
Who
we're
wants
gonna
to
bet
try and
small.
navigate the woods here?
I think we get to bet big here.
Okay,
The
Larry,
rainbow
you wanna
board,
get big?
2 high hearts.
How
think that's
big do you
more
want to
under
bet
the
there?
gun, though.
I think we go 5.
So
Larry is going big.
I think it's just a range bet, so you bet small.
Ken wants to go
Range.
small.
Bet is small too.
I bet 2.
Okay, we got some twos, but Larry wants to go big. It
Nope,
is going
it's always,
very small.
oh, there's a checking range. I know
And
there's
check.
a checking range on this board as the button. You can bet big when you're under the gun versus big, or earlier in the action, you bet big on this board.
I am shocked that there's 44% checks, honestly.
So
You know, I
think-
don't really find the checks as often as I should, but I think that like in our games, 100% bet small will work really well.
I think
But
you're gonna see, we'll take a look at the range here, but I think you're gonna see more bigger aces wanting to bet. Ones that interact with the straight end of the king, queen. And you're gonna see more betting from the lower end. Ones that have the potential to make a ace deuce and can fold a better 8. This one is just in the middle, and I think it's probably just, that's why this one has such a high check frequency.
And also, isn't it because of the queen? Queen is really good for big blind.
Yep. So the king wants to, the king makes us want to bet a lot, and the queen makes us want to bet a lot. And you can see that ace 2, ace 3, and ace 5 are betting a lot. And then the middling ones, ace 6, ace 7, and ace 8 are checking a lot. And then the ace 10 and ace jack are betting a lot again. So it's a function of these aces get better aces to fold. And you can even see there's a bit of using the bigger size with these ones. Right, which matches the going for value with these with pocket aces. Right? Yeah. So this one does have some small bets. So we'll give it a small bet. Larry wanted to give it a bet. And it gets check raised on us.
oh my gosh.
Larry, we've gotten ourselves in a bit of a pickle here. Our hand's not bad, but this is not good. Do you want to fold or do you want to call, Larry?
This guy's got some nerve.
I think we'll see over in the back door. We have some calling, but I think I prefer fold.
I call.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah,
The-
probably.
The
You got
elements
when
that
you
you
get
have.
check raise on the button, you gotta call check raises with your back doors. I don't know.
Yeah, this deep, you are definitely going to have to defend, and it is tough because it is not a great spot to defend. Which is also why this hand was kind of 50-50 with why I wanted to bet. But we get in here, we defend. And he checks.
I'm betting.
Do we want to bet again?
It's an exploit I use. It's not 100%, but I mean, usually when it goes check, raise, check, if we do a lot of betting, I mean, we have ace high, so maybe it's not gonna wanna, but like, you know,
Mhm.
How much do you bet? 9?
no, just go small, like 6.
Okay.
I
check.
go,
Mark
I
your
go
case
50%.
checking. Saeed's betting. What about you, Larry?
I think I check here. I don't want to get double check raise off my equity too. Nuts.
Double
Okay.
check raises our hands garbage, anything else, so.
Ken had it
Okay,
right.
Fair-
the
fair
king
bet.
Motion
calls.
is that it's going to just, after a check raise and a check, our
Well,
range
there
is
was a
going to
big
want to
difference in
bet.
EV there, right?
So we'll take a look here.
I just
Big
wasn't
raise
sure
on
because
it.
we had ace high, so I wasn't 100% sure this would do it every time, but I know a lot of our range wants to bet after that.
Yeah,
And we got a
so-
gutter, so.
Our hands that want to check here are tens want to check. Our worst queens want to check. we still have all of these queens that want to check, and even all these kings that are really low, right, are checking, protecting some of our range here with our best hands, with our kings that can call off on the river a lot.
Yeah, your marginal made, your quote unquote marginal made heads are gonna wanna check for sure.
But our hands that have a draw that is incomplete, or these ace highs that can still get better to fold, want to bet. Right? Because he's gonna have to start folding out some pairs when we bet these aces here. And this is the only ace that's just betting small. All of the rest are mixing sizes with small and medium bets.
So he's probably check raised. He's like, I don't know, we'll get to fold there, but he could have check raises like maybe jack four of spades or something and shit like that. He might be check raising.
Okay. So we got check raised, we continuation bet. We've made ourselves a pair on the river. There is one
check.
pot size bet left here.
You just
Larry,
check.
Yeah,
are
I
you gonna
don't,
go for it?
we're not gonna value bet with fourth pair. I think we check.
All right.
Oh my god.
You are.
Yeah,
That's good.
So you block his, so the river, you block the set of eights. That's a bit of a solver
Don't they
thing.
three bet? They three bet the ace jack like 80% of the time. Like all the ace jack suited, and then like most of the ace jack off. So we have an ace.
but you bet for, you
We
bet, you,
turned ace 10. It totally fucking makes sense. Our story makes sense. And we don't think our 8 is good. That's why it wants us to rip it in our face.
Why would it check back ace 10? Okay.
Because ace 10 is better than ace 8.
So
It's mixing with its ace 10 here too.
So turning showdown.
I'm not
into
finding
a
any of these
bluff
bluffs.
Is something that is advanced class. It's definitely not bad.
Personally, I either check the flop or I fucking folded on incorrectly on the flop because I suck at poker. But if I did not suck at poker on the flop, then I think this looks cool. I don't think I'm doing it enough.
The other question is, the shove here, what are we getting him to fold out? We just need to see what he folds out with the shove.
He's supposed to be folding queens probably.
He's
I don't
targeting.
think check raises any queen X.
Yeah, I don't
A
think so. I
lot,
mean,
a lot of kings will fold here. A lot of kings. You'll fold out a lot of kings. You'll fold out a lot of jacks that were chasing draws. Like, it's not unreasonable after you called the check raise and you let out on the turn. Presuming
So,
you did those things, you can very easily show that you have king queen, king 10,
r-
like
But-
all these things that can punish people for overvaluing top pair
so
or
guys,
chasing a draw.
we'll take a look right here.
But-
So this is kind of the range that the guy winds up coming to the river, right? He's got some two pairs with kings and tens, and he's got a lot of kings and a few other single pair hands, right? He doesn't really have the straight when he gets here very often. It's not a part of him. He also doesn't have a set here very often. He has more two pairs than us, but he doesn't have a lot of the nuts, right? Which is the straights. So we have more nutted hands here, right? Even though our ranges cross over each other at the bottom, right? He has a lot more marginal hands with top pair than we do, and with third pair than we do.
So do you think it's safe to say that his betting pattern has capped his range, whereas we remain uncapped?
Yes, he does not have the best hands here, straights and sets very often, right? What he has is a lot of
because
top
I
pair.
feel like we would play like a set of queens the same way and a set of kings
Mhm.
the same way.
So because of our
Bro.
nut advantage,
I mean, I would play fours this way too.
From
Like,
pre-flop,
just-
we have just owned this boy.
yeah, because
I love poker now that I need to study. I'm gonna study like 25 hours before Sunday. And I'm not gonna play until Sunday, and then I'm gonna play like all the high buy-ins.
All right, that's a good plan.
But
Is
right
our
now,
sh-
I just suck.
But yeah, like if we going back to that hand, like let's say you're on the other side of that sequence of events,
Mhm.
like you're probably folding a king 90% of the
I
time.
think
You
that population is bad at folding top pair, but they probably might think because you have all the two pairs, all the sets, and you're the only one with ace jack. I think
Well,
it's
all-
ace jack and balance.
yes, and also yeah, because the board is so connected, because you could have Jack 9 suited as well, and every combination of that
Yeah,
too.
like
So
there's
like
they're certainly gonna struggle with their queens and their weaker kings.
yeah,
So then I guess in game a heuristic would be for like recognizing that your 8 is actually kind of meaningless and that you have to turn, basically you're turning all the ace 8 and below into a bluff.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
you had it,
I think
Gabriel.
I think two is just like a check raise is a very strong move, and calling a check raise is like a whoa moment. Like the person has to think about your range as a little more uncapped after you call a check raise like that,
Okay.
and you lead out on the turn.
No problem. So we get to this new hand, raising ace king and getting called and getting an ace flop. Happy days. Who wants to check
Now
here?
we bet
Anyone?
small. This is where it's like 90% betting.
Okay.
100% betting.
So are we betting just two?
And
Or are we
with two
betting
low cards, we go small.
a little bit?
I think I think our range mixes between large bets and small bets. I think most of our range bets, but I'm betting big on this one, honestly.
I
Yeah,
agree.
think it's more likely to bet
Bigger.
big with the low cards.
Recently, I'm trying to do 50% bet on this board.
Okay. So I'm hearing that there's going to be some people who want just low bets and some people who want to mix their bets. So let's take a peek, see what we wind up with.
Yep.
Let's
It
go.
is
Bet.
mixing.
Big bet, baby. Because I think on like ace 8 deuce, it's gonna like bet the small size pretty much always. But since it's ace 6 4, there's gut shots, a lot of gut shots. So that's why you need to bet bigger.
Yeah,
And it's
what-
also a rainbow, which leans towards a bigger sizing. Let's
And
go.
since we're gonna have big bets, this is one of our best value hands, so this is one we wanna size up. We don't wanna be
But-
crappy.
So
Oh,
0% checks.
so but it does still have small betting.
Yeah, 70% of the range is small betting and 30% of the range is big betting. And when you look
And
at
the
the
5 is
aces,
actually a weird size. It's usually
The-
3.
the offsuit aces want to size up and the suited aces are going to want to bet a little bit smaller, right, than the offsuit.
Absolutely no checking this board.
No check.
This is a board where you don't check.
So again, we made some choices. All of them look pretty reasonable and pretty well dispersed here. We get called. Card that is kind of neutral here. Shouldn't
Vomit.
have floated a lot of queens
Eight.
though.
0.4 big blinds.
Whoa, all right, Viv's putting down the hammer. Anyone else want to weigh in on the sizing here for the
At
turn?
least 8.4.
This is where I
least-
always bet that 125%. That's what I've
I
been
think we
doing.
have over bets, yeah. What was, I missed it on the flop. Was it bet small or bigger or mixed?
It
Big.
mixed between the small and the bigger sizes, and it was about 20% of each.
Awesome, thanks.
No problem.
How much we
s-
bet? We bet small.
We bet small on the flop, so sizing up on the turn is definitely gonna be a motion.
So like if we have 10 jack of like spades here, we wanna go batshit crazy, I think. So I wanna bomb this one too.
Okay, so we're gonna go 8s or 12s.
I think 8.
Alright.
I
Let's
like
take a
12.
look.
Wow.
8.
It doesn't really make too much of a difference, but it is 8.
I think you want to keep like worse aces in, and you want to punish flush draws with bad odds, right? So
So he just had a gut shot that he didn't raise interesting on the flop.
I don't think we overbet too much at 40 big blinds, do we? Because it's so easy to get stacks in by the river.
Yeah, generally not. Except on like super wet textures, like
Yeah.
Right.
9-8 of spades, 3 of clubs.
Yeah, I was
Right?
just gonna
That's
say,
gonna
like,
be a one you find.
if the turn was like maybe an 8 of hearts, maybe we could have some overbets.
Gotcha.
Yeah, more connectivity here. So,
Can you look at it to see if that actually changes it?
sure.
Cause I'm honestly just guessing. I feel like, I'm still fairly like scale of 1 to 10, maybe 6 confidence level, but that could be totally wrong as
Sure.
well.
We can.
Oh, I love how when we did our hand review, you asked me whoever asked my confidence level, and I got away with saying like, oh, it was like 70%. So I wasn't being cocky, but I wasn't being like,
How about 8 of spades? Too. Oh, so we're not
So,
there
yeah.
yet. Okay,
So it does drive up the betting size, but it still only uses the 80% pot.
yeah. How about this if it's a spade?
Ocho Bastonia,
8 of spade.
drive.
Just even a bit more big bets, but it doesn't drive the size up. Oh, we still didn't look.
yeah, we did. It doesn't really drive the size up.
No. it's
Here's
just
the one
percentage.
that drives the sizing a little more polar, because the 8 completes the straight for 64 with 57. So the 9 still leaves incomplete equity for him here. Right? Any card at 8 and under is going to complete a straight, so it's not going to want the bigger bets.
Oh, I guess nothing in our hand class is
Well,
goes over betting.
And we open all the offsuit 8s too, yeah, so, yeah, okay, makes sense.
So the 9 is where it wants to have a party.
It's probably because the flop is rainbow.
All right. Queen 10 gives it a raise, gets called.
One big blind. We're having a party.
Just giving it a super mini click.
Party.
Yep.
I bet 3.5.
Little frisky with 3.
So
On paired boards, that kind of drives down our bet sizing, because you tend to either be way behind or way in front. And so you just want to push the equity of the fact that you have slightly more over pairs than your opponent does. Right?
yeah, maybe
Like,
it's 7s or below, but often in a lot of these smaller paired boards, when we have the range advantage and we have all the over pairs, we go a little bit larger. And especially 8-8, what I was thinking is because we have all the offsuit 8s in our range, we get to go a little bit bigger here, because we don't, the big blind doesn't have an advantage over us.
In position, you go small on paired boards, and they're supposed to defend mostly by check raising. They just overfold a shit ton because they struggle to defend. It's a dry board.
Yeah,
It's
if you
dry,
look at
disconnected
the
board.
We just
you
looked
look
at a
at the-
hand the other night, and that was a similar thing. It was 8-6-6, and I went big, and it was correct. So like it's gonna just vary. Like
I think it could be that the more connectivity, like the more gut shots and straight draws available, then it leans towards bigger.
And 6-6 is a key card for the big blind. So 5-6s would be the 2 that you might drive up your bet size a little bit, only because they have most of those. Where 8s,
So
we
I
still
wanna
open
see-
all the offsuit 8s, so.
What
if we
about
take
8-8-7? Are we still like, do we have some checks on that board? Or are we gonna go bigger because? we
So
want
on a
to
board
check
like that,
raise?
if we take a look here,
I wanna
the
see
8s are well represented in both ranges, right? With all this line here and this line down to 8-6. Our line has down to 8-7 off and has down to 8-5 suited. So we're missing 12 combos here, or between these 3 numbers, but 12, 24, 36, 48, 60 combos here. That he has only one of those parts. He has an extra 12 of these and an extra 12 of these. So he has a little more 8, but the reason why it wants to bet small is because he is missing all of these pairs here, right? And
Yeah,
if he doesn't
correct.
have an 8, we have all of those pairs in range, and we're just ahead of him whenever he has a deuce, when we have any pair that's bigger than that. And so
Yeah, I
it
was gonna
wants
say
to
this board.
bet a lot.
This board is particularly good for imposition because, like you said, the big blind has no pairs, and they also really like twos because they're folding a lot of the offsuit twos pre-flop. So it's very hard for them to continue just period. They have to float very, very wide to continue properly. And in a solver, they're gonna find it, but population, they're not gonna defend properly versus small bet.
All right, so we get a spicy check raise.
This is
So-
an easy call.
Easy
There are
call.
lots of eights out there, but we have a flush draw. So Nick, would you fold the queen 10 of clubs here?
No, never.
I would.
I would.
We're gonna call, because that's for sure the metric, but I want to take a peek and see if we fold queen 10 of clubs.
So you
Yes,
can't
you
fold two
fold
overs
queen
with a
10
flush
offsuit.
draw here. All your two overs with a flush draw are gonna have to continue. If you're
Well,
c-betting your
instead of
range and you're folding
clubs.
to a small check raise with a hand like
Clubs
this,
don't
you're
have the
just
back
folding
door.
too
That's
much.
why you fold the clubs and you call the
Yes.
others.
But you actually you can call it most of the time, it looks like.
So if you're going to
Okay.
fold the queen 10 of clubs here, you also have to be 3-bet bluffing the queen 10 of clubs here. Right? Otherwise, it's just gonna want to call.
I think it's probably fine to fold in game, like to overfold because people aren't gonna check raise enough unless you're dealing with certain population tendencies like Brazilians will do it.
Unless you wind up on a study group here.
Now
All
we
right,
can
so
fold.
we get the barrel on the turn with the 3. We don't pick up any equity. Is it time to
Muck
release
it.
this fish?
Yes. It's okay.
All right,
Old.
Wait,
it is. It's still strong. Look at
the
this.
fuck?
Wow.
Just a sick raise, but yeah, it is just fine to fold here now.
It's so this is an indifference point. So that means, wait, so check out so that means by like intuiting, if this is a freaking mostly fold, but it's sort of indifferent, then that means our king highs have to float, all of our king highs.
King, queen, awful call. I don't think, like, I think you can start folding king, jack off. Just gonna
Poker
start
is
folding
so
some too.
annoying.
I agree.
Let's take a peek. It is calling king, queen mostly. Right? It is calling. It wants to start, like if you have the diamond here, right? It wants to call. If you have a single diamond,
So it
again,
doesn't
it wants to call with the diamond.
so it chooses when our back doors did not brick. If our backdoor bricks, we fold. So the best is if our backdoor did not brick.
Yeah, and if our mixed hands, like we're still floating with a single diamond in our hand blocking his value barrels here.
But I don't know if overfolding is necessarily so bad, but that it's good to know where these indifferent points are.
Overfolding's fine. People don't check raise enough.
All right. Pretty close to bottom of the barrel here.
Unless you're playing me. If you're playing me, don't fold.
Oh, look at this very fishy 3-bets.
Fold.
Fold?
Yep.
Ace 4 off sucks.
When you're at the bottom of your range and you get 3-bet, it's an easy fold. So, Ken, what ace are you defending against the 3-bet here? Offsuit.
9.
Mine sounds
Ace
very
10.
reasonable.
You're defending
Ace-
ace nine. No,
ace
you
eight
can
off.
you can 4-bet ace 9. You can't call.
8. Yeah.
9, ace 10 is your 4-bet ace jack, ace queen, ace king. They're all stuffing
Oh.
here. Right, because you're 40 bigs, so. Yep, but yeah, ace 9, very reasonable defend, ace 10, just fine as well.
In real life, I don't, like Nick said though, in real life, I don't defend ace 9. I know, I was quite confident it was in the range, but I'm not defending it in the game against these people. I'm just gonna keep my 40 big blind stack and, you know,
Gonna keep 38 big blinds and go home.
save my edge and work the chips.
All right,
I know it's a 4-bet at some, maybe it's like 60 or 80. Maybe you need to be deeper.
yeah. Yeah, when you have deeper bets, that's for sure. Because the ranges are still wide, so ace 9's okay. All right. King Jack, pretty easy raise. Oh, well, we
Hello.
get three bet.
Yeah, I'm gonna call
Is
this.
this on?
Yep, you're here. Micro bets.
Why? Wait, he's three betting. Oh, this is
Yeah,
another
he-
thing that I freaking suck. I think we're gonna call because you know what? Well, another one of my leaks is fucking not calling and see bets and three bet pot. So I'm just gonna call.
I mean, I'm pissed off that I'm calling too. Like, I'm just so mad he makes this bet size, keep me in the pot. You know, just bet something so I can get out of here.
Is this
can-
what we call the disrespectful bet size? Is that you, Viv?
No,
You
I
can
just
run a
wanna
runner to the
be-
nuts. You have
yes.
to peel.
Yeah.
I have been scolded for this leak and I need to work on this leak. So I'm just need to call this.
All right.
You know
It
what? I have
is
a
a
list.
call.
Call. Let's go.
You gotta call, you gotta be hoping that you're gonna look to steal down the road probably. You're gonna have to bluff a lot when you defend here.
Yeah, you are only folding a
biggest
very
leak-
small portion of your
Yes.
range.
This is my biggest leak. Folding in three bet pot to
We
one
only
bet.
bet two big blinds, Viv.
Yes, that's why it's my biggest leak. Call and they have to prove that they have it. And now we
It
call
still
again
didn't
because we have a gut
polarize.
shot. We have a gut shot. I
I'm
don't know
out.
why they never a lot of they don't follow up on the turn with a bigger bet in this. And so now on three bet pots, you're sitting there like, fuck, man.
Abandoned ship.
It was gonna be easy fold. Now it's like,
I'm not so
Alright.
sure.
now
It
I
was
have
it was a pretty thin call on the flop, and Gabriel had it right. 2 to win 22, it was a good deal. But 6 to win 30, it's not quite such a good deal anymore.
We might
a
be able
third-
to mix
if a third
jamming
heart-
here.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say if
They
I
could be
would,
genius
I
with
would
the
call,
defined
and if
view.
a heart shows up or queen shows up, I would jam.
Okay, so you want
Um,
to crawl along?
Might not get the jam
I
on a heart.
I think it's gonna fold mostly, call some and jam some.
Ooh, spicy.
I'm just folding.
Well, Team Nits over here all want to fold. But
I
it is
told you it
going
was
to
a
call.
call. I did
Yeah.
not call those two big blinds.
Yeah, I'm
to
not-
turn a gut
Any
shot,
heart,
and
any
then
heart,
him do this.
I don't
Any
care about
heart
that
can
0.08
improve you.
EV.
any heart can improve you, and any queen definitely does.
I
Well,
don't
it's
care about
purely
points
it's purely a
over.
pot odds question. We're getting,
Yep.
you know, we're getting what
5
is
to
it?
1. It's 5 to 1.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I mean, we're just getting direct odds, basically, almost like.
We're not getting direct
Mhm.
odds. We only
No.
have
No, the
4 outs.
queen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 11%.
9%.
You're
It's
Okay,
But-
not
more-
quite, but with
it's more
with
a
implied
range-
odds, like it's enough of the EV.
well.
Even
No,
even with
still
implied odds, you're
no.
not getting proper
Still
odds.
no.
It's
Yeah,
more
exactly.
a range defense question. So he bet 10% on
Oh,
the
okay.
flops. We had to continue with so much of our range that we have queen 8 of spades here, queen 8 of diamonds here, queen 8 of clubs here. Like we have so much stuff that we have to fold that we can't fold a hand like this.
Okay. And there is still some odds that the king hits and
Jam.
our hand is good.
Jam.
We
Oh,
can
wait.
we have to jam
Not
here.
shoving.
You must.
So we have a jack, which blocks some nuts. We have a heart, which
Our
has
jack,
some
I guess this is
things.
good for a jack of hearts. So I guess we're folding king jack that don't have any suits, right? On the
Yeah.
turn. Or the flop
Um,
too, right? The flop, like if we have a club, we're folding, right?
No, I think they're still probably continuing.
Are we supposed to fold king jack even with king jack with a club? I'm like, oh,
So-
Yeah, he bet 10% pot. You have to continue so wide.
I hate.
We're-
that
So
game.
in my mind, the Jack of Hearts is one of the best possible bluffing cards to have in your hand here. You block the straights, you block the flushes, and it allows you to have them in your range here. And we'll also have a lot more 2 pairs and a lot more flushes than villain here.
Yeah, I think if you can't find a bluff here, then you're probably just spieling when you call the turn.
So if
Yeah,
you
so
have
rip it.
if you have queen jack with less showdown value,
No, I think we have
Or-
to still rip it here because we still have a lot of.
yeah. Okay. I think there might be some checks here too, though. Nope, never.
Nope, never.
It is the plan. The plan all along was to rip the jack of hearts.
This is why I folded on the turn.
This is why I folded on the flop, and I don't care what the coaches told me. I folded already. I didn't get
All right.
myself. I know that that's a huge leak. I don't
For-
like 10%. Can you raise on the flop? Do we have raises versus? the
Yes, you can
10%?
raise flops.
How many, like, what's our strategy? Cause I
I
need to
don't
learn,
know.
I need to study this,
If you do and they call and you you have junk, it's you just give up way earlier, pretty much. That's it.
I know I hate the small bets and 3-bet pots. It's
Well,
like
that's
bet
why
big,
it's
Two
good.
big ones.
bet big so I can feel like good. Or
Yeah.
bet big.
I'm checking.
Checking.
On this board?
Yep.
Ooh, I think it's gonna be really heavily mixed
No.
between.
I'm
these
gonna
two.
bet all my single king is spade. I'm gonna put all my single spade
No
hands.
check. No check, bad Ken.
I gotta have some kind of straight draw equity to bet. Like, this is absolutely nothing. I'm checking it. It's not a range
Yep,
bet, so
bet
I'm
small.
checking.
It's a
That's
range
small.
bet and it's a imposition.
Range.
against-
Oh, hey, look who
Range
woke
bet
up, Louis
small.
Philippe.
Happy
Welcome aboard.
days.
It's Louis
It
Philippe.
is.
All right, I think it's going to be pretty heavily mixed between these two. I don't think there's gonna be much checking on this range. But Ken
See,
is right.
Ken
there's
is
a
right.
lot of
It
check.
out.
LP gets here just in time to be 100% sure that I'm wrong.
It's not because, okay, so monotone boards favor bet small, but it's not bet small range every monotone board.
Nope,
It,
not
the
against every blind,
monotone
it's not.
boards have a lot of checking. Yeah, especially on this, like it's a 9-8-5. Those are like 3 big blind cards.
Yep. So these worst kings do have some bigger size bets too as well. Right?
And they have all
So-
the straights.
Oh, let's
You-
guess their check raise percent. I'm gonna guess that they have a 18%, no, 15%. I'm gonna guess 15% they need a check raise if we bet small.
Okay,
Wanna-
well, we're gonna find out because we did bet small. And we get check raised.
And now we
Easy fold.
fold.
She gone.
It's a check raise
So-
percent.
Viv thought the check raise percent was 15.
And he gets the bluff. us with a shit-
25.
He gets to bluff us with a shit ton of single spade cards worse than a king.
Check raise is 12, 13%. Call 55, fold 1/3 of hands.
So I was close.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay,
Very
so my
close. Good
biggest
call, Viv.
leak is the damn big blind, and we spend all the time studying the big blind, and I still am losing more than I'm supposed to.
All right. So we would defend any pair here and any spade, single spade hands. And we're
And
primarily
straight
just gonna
draws,
fold
over
all of these types
pairs.
of things. Yeah, if we have a 7, right? A 10.
And
Is there any 4-bet? Can we look?
it's a 3-bet.
So when
Technically.
he gives us the check raise, it comes back to us. And we have a little bit of 4 betting.
Aces just say screw it.
They're 3
The
bet.
ace of spades. The ace of spades.
Okay.
The ace of queen of spades. Right? And pocket tens with a spade. Right? So if you want to raise here, you have to have a big spade and you have to have a value hand. Right? Or the ace high bluff.
Right.
Right? 2 overs with the flush draw is good enough to stuff. But not a big part of the strategy. And of course, he just has the nuts. Jack 4, is this a raise?
Yeah, I think we played.
Yes, yes, open
Yes.
it, open it. Don't miss it. Don't miss this, guys.
Don't miss it. So remember, we're on the suited 5s, but you get a little expansion when you get towards the bigger cards.
I think even Jack Deuce mixes.
Gosh darn it.
Jack three is the smallest.
But when you're at the bottom of your range, it's easy to get away.
I need to find these big blind jams for 40 big blinds. I know that I need to just keep doing it. I don't care. I'm gonna jam big blind in everybody's face. I already jammed small blind in everybody's face, but I don't jam big blind enough.
In a couple weeks, we will be doing some big blind work and you'll have your chance to jam.
2s through 8s for sure. Bomb it.
All right,
Alright.
I'm gonna bet small.
Yeah, 10-4-2, right?
I think
buddy?
it's gonna be a small or half pot, but it's not
This-
gonna bet bigger than
This is
that.
another one that's gonna have a bunch of bet sizes, so.
Half pot.
And I
The
don't
king
think
is
it
good
has
for
as
us.
many checks.
I think I would just go 2 with this combo.
The marginal made hand, you wanna bet? Alright,
Mhm.
primarily
Uh,
betting, small.
So there's not even a medium bet. I just was wrong.
So he
it's
doesn't dock
okay.
here, we just check.
I don't think he donks as much when there's not 3 to a straight turning. But there might be some, but
definitely
I
has
think
got-
it's doesn't have as many when it doesn't turn 3 to a straight because it's 2, not a 3 or 7.
He has a fair amount of leads on that term, though.
You will have some leads on that turn for sure, but we still have like a lot of kings here too, so he's got to be careful with that. And he comes out with a bet.
So we check.
Is our deuce loose?
I would say it's either a fold or a raise.
I'm trying to think about my checking range is pretty weak.
Fold or click. Fold
We
or
don't have a
click.
spade. We might have to call this.
I'm not calling.
Yeah.
It
There
is
you go.
not just
Oh,
click.
you
it
never
is
click.
stop.
You rip it. You say, I have
I do this sometimes when I'm tilted, when I'm like, if I think we're not supposed to do it.
Yeah, it's funny though, like calling is not a profitable decision. Stuffing it is also not a profitable decision,
No,
right? So it is
So
a spot.
folding, I said fold or raise, but I think I was correct.
And you
Of
just
course.
short.
Okay, so folds, calls, or raise. This is like the ultimate, like another indifferent point. But I feel
Okay.
like population does not bet that as often. Just
We
I
s-
think fold is okay.
We
Fold
saw
or
Jack
raise.
4 getting in the party. Is Jack 3 getting in the party?
I think this is the
That's
very
our very
bottom.
bottom.
We still open it though.
Very bottom. 0.04. Don't miss your opens.
So
Right.
Ken's tilted play was actually solver approved in that case.
Yep.
no, but I called. I didn't say jam, but I do sometimes if I get tilted, I do that shit. If I think.
Yeah, your tilt
Not supposed
jam
to-
is good.
You're not supposed to
guess,
lead that
is
card.
it-
I'm fucking.
Is it not stuffing it because the SPR? I mean, is it not clicking it because the SPR?
Well, he bets a polarized bet on the river, so you want to have a polarized response, which means you have everything or you have nothing.
Alright.
So it says your deuce is nothing. It's like, okay,
Well, yeah.
all right,
Oh, yeah.
here. Jack
This is
3.
Fugash. I don't like this. I'm gonna.
That's
What?
false.
Yeah, bet small is good. I think there's a
Two.
lot of EV and overseed betting.
Not 1, but 2.
I think 33% is the best size unless you're at a paired board or monotone board. And now I think we can check back this pretty safely.
I agree.
Yeah, there is some sizing up.
90%. 90%.
90 is pretty good. And
Call,
he,
there,
oh, look at this disrespectful bet.
Would you
Wait.
look at that?
I think we call this, but we have to raise all of our 8x. Oh no, we're raising flushes. I
You-
think
yeah,
that we have 4x.
You need a single spade probably at least to raise. I mean, we're gonna beat
So if we
some
have an
hands here.
8x with a spade, ace 8 and king 8, then we're raising ace 8 and king 8. So not all of our 8x, but our ace 8 and king 8.
With a
You're
spade,
raising your ace 8 and your king 8, Viv.
I think we should.
I mean, there's a lot of fours out there.
I mean, he should have some fours in his range.
I think
This
if you
is just
had
a
raised an
call.
8, you probably want to spade in your hand as well, probably.
That's good. That's good
Reasonable.
advice. Be safe.
King eights. Yep, all the king eights.
Don't even care. if
All
it
the
goes-
eights.
Doesn't even
All
care if
the
it has a spade
eights.
or not.
So
Oh.
I was correct. I was correct, guys. This is where your EV can come from. If
Yeah.
you don't know how to call C-bets and 3-bet pots, but you know that you say, I'm raising your bet with my 8 because you are full of crap.
Well, and you can get called by worse still. He's gonna have like,
He's gonna have worse 8s.
I guess
he's
pocket
betting
fives,
a lot
pocket
of his
sixes. He's
eights.
got 5-3
He's
here.
betting
yeah,
a
like-
5-3 here for value.
No, he doesn't
he's
have
not-
pocket pairs, right? He's jamming them, isn't he?
No,
Yeah.
he's betting a 1 big blind with the 5-3, and you're raising all your overpairs there too, right?
Yeah, he just block bets it.
Yeah, versus the block bet, he's block betting a 3, hoping to get called by ace high.
All right, king 10 off facing a 3-bet.
Me, honestly, I call
This
king
is the
jack.
bottom.
I'd
We call
fold
this though. Yeah,
Oh.
you have to call all the suited
Nah,
broadways.
It's whatever.
But I think in the lower stakes, folding is
Oh.
not bad, but when you get to bits and high, just call it.
Just easy call.
Call, now we have a pair. It's a 3-bet pot. We stack off with our top pairs. Said Louis, Philippe.
I'm checking.
I'm
Checking
betting.
chicken.
Yeah. I'm
Checking is okay. Yeah, we don't have a spade.
Okay.
I'm betting.
It
All
is never
in.
checking.
Yeah.
All in.
If you're in a 3-bet pot and you have top pair, good night.
There you go.
That's what my coach named Louis said.
My first instinct was all in, but I'm like, that just feels really bad, so I'm checking. I only got a king here.
Look at that nice trap that he lays.
Yeah. I mean, I'm losing. He's gonna put him on the river. I'm gonna call anyway. So what's the difference? You might as well put him in, right?
All right.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, why? I thought I had a
Keep it.
blocker to ace king. I blocked
Yeah.
ace king and they had
We-
ace king anyway.
Do we keep the fish on the line or do we
No.
stuff the turkey?
Oh, you can eat.
I'm calling.
I'm shipping it.
I think we call this where we ship like 9s and 10s and
Yeah.
jacks and 8s and 7s.
All in. All in.
Nope.
All in.
Too good. He's
Alright.
got, he's supposed to be pretty polarized here. I'm happy to call.
I think we still play this ace as a king.
I kind of like actually it isn't all in.
Can we
I-
mix a bit?
It
No?
is a call. You freaking tricked me. I hate when people trick me. It's a
Yep.
call, but we stuff the 9s, the jacks and below. I think it's jacks where we starts just all
So
in.
here,
Put all the
it-
chips in.
Who tricked you, Viv?
Cammy did.
Oh,
in these
Sorry.
in these 3-bet pots, the stack to pot ratio gets reduced really quickly. And
Oh,
we
we
just
call
want to-
9s, 8s, and 7s too, but we only
Yeah.
we only jam the jacks and 10s and 3 and the bottom lower pairs. So it's like a weird combo shape.
right? Remember, like his value here are these hands: ace, queen, king, queen, ace, jack. So when we have 2 queens, he just doesn't have king, queen, ace, queen as much when he's 3-betting. So like we're blocking some of the value part of his 3-bet. So we really want to flat with this one and keep him in. Right. And when we unblock them with jacks, we want to get it in before he has a chance to flop a queen.
he could still call off worse.
All right.
And
That's
that's,
what I get after
then
call.
now I'm miserable after I do that.
Why did it? Yeah, I get you have to call.
Do we get a pro
All in.
here?
So-
Not a pro. I think we might get a small here.
Jack.
Doing checks.
We are the caller in a 3-bet pot. The flush is good for us. It wouldn't surprise
Oh.
me to see it betting here.
I'd
9
be
chips.
shocked.
Just check it.
That's 4 chips. pretty reasonable amounts of the time.
By the river, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah. Well, and like if another, like you buy the spade too, right? You get some things in, you can check on the river.
Don't we buy the spade by checking?
Well, no, because you want to get some chips in because you're still ahead here sometimes,
Yeah, SPR is only half a pot.
right? So it still wants to have a little bit of a value.
I don't understand the board, but I've seen people do it.
Yeah, so this is
Or-
a 3-bet pot where we have second pair. And so he's still gonna have some bluffs and stuff here, so it's still
I guess if
okay.
you put
So-
4 chips in and they
but
have
it's
the
still-
8, like a lot of spades, like 1 spade heart combos have to
Yeah.
call.
What it's
a
doing,
lot of their
Viv,
guts-
we have to have we're gonna have some single spade bluffs here, so we have to find some value with single spades. And we struggle to have a lot of value better than the king. So it's turning the queens and probably a jack and nines. And well, the jacks we don't have, right? So it's probably turning like, if we had pocket nines with a spade, it's probably doing it some too. But you're gonna have
And-
some single spade bluffs here. So you
He
have to have some
also,
value.
yeah, he also doesn't have like, when we bet this size, he can't fold a 10, which we're gonna get value from. And when he is a king, we still have equity against it. They're getting a good price to continue. But checking's also just fine here. Ooh, he
Someone
checks the
raise this
river.
turn.
Check it down.
I would never
This
find a
is
value bet here.
So
maybe
dumb.
solver
No,
knows.
we're checking. What are you value betting against?
It's mixing.
Well, it has its value shoves.
You
Yeah,
know
the
what?
UV
That
is the
all
same.
in is a glitch in the matrix.
So look
If
at
you
the bluffs.
block-
Like if you're not finding a bluffs here, you don't have to bluff this either.
Ooh,
You're
look
supposed
at that
to,
bluff.
you're supposed to 3-bet those hands. Quite often. You need a I'm missing all these 3-bets. By 4% or 5% or 6%. I forgot. Let
Can
me
we look at
see.
the turn and river ranges?
Sure. So a couple weeks from now, we'll be looking at the big blind defense and we will be finding all kinds of sick 3-bets.
It says big blind 3-bet versus steal is too tight because you're a fish.
So he chose this is his 3-betting range pre-flop,
On the sliver.
right? Or sorry, his flop strategy, right? So he has all kinds of stuff here. Right? When he gets here with queen 3, he is betting it like crazy. And then on the turn, you want to see that too, Ken?
Yeah, I'm curious, how we're constructing our value and bluffs, our range.
When our range. Okay, when he turns if he turns the flush draw, he continues, but when he doesn't have the queen of spades, he stops and he gives up. For us, our range just continues a lot on the flop, right? We fold out the bottom third of our range.
Hold on, I don't see 20-some% bluffs with pocket queens here like it was in the sim.
We're on a different street.
The sim had 22% bets here, right?
No, this
It's
was
not-
this
it's
was
not
his
on
big
the-
bet. This is the flop.
Oh, we're still on the flop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so when he checks the turn, we are primarily betting here. Right, we're only checking 25% of hands. And queen is one of the ones that checks a lot.
But he bet, right?
But yeah, there is a tiny minutia of betting, and it's always when you have the spade in your hand. Right? So.
No, I wanted to see how we construct our turn betting range. Cause he bet flop, check turn, and I wanted to see how we construct our turn betting range.
No,
Cause,
I thought I showed you, sorry.
yeah, no, we didn't look at the turn, right?
That was the
Look to-
turn.
We did.
Yeah,
we
we're betting 75% of the range on the turn.
So this is the turn.
This is the turn right here.
This
We're
is the
checking
turn.
28%. And we are betting small 40%, betting all in 30%.
This is our range, right?
Yes, this is us. We are
And-
going,
So
In
all the
with kings.
kings, all the aces, ace, so it's turning all the aces into bluffs.
yeah, but they're using the small, not all in size. Right? The all ins come
Under
from the
pairs.
under pairs. And your 5 when you have it
They're
here.
going all in, Jesus.
Yeah, 3-bet pot. And the worst offsuit aces are betting,
All with a spade, right? All of them, 100%?
all of them. All the ones that we get here with, which are all spade
Only
based, because we call the
spades.
bet on the flop.
Right.
So is the explanation for turning your underpairs into a bluff shove here? That we're unblocking folds? I don't quite.
So
The solver
all of the
makes
under
sense.
pairs that we have here have a spade in them. So
As
they
well.
have a draw and they have a marginal made component. So when the opponent calls our jam with a better pair, we have the flush draw, even though it's only 7 high. And when he calls us with the ace of spades, well, we have a pair that's beating his unpaired hand.
That is a very valid explanation. Thank you, Peter.
No problem, no problem, no problem. So yeah, all of these under pairs that are going for it, and I mean, recognize these are an element of the bluff too, right? So they all have equity with the flush draw and a bit of showdown, and are balancing the fact that we are just betting every king here. So when we have this many bets, we have to find bluffs, and we start at the bottom with equity bluffs that have a bit of showdown, but we don't have enough bluffs to cover the amount of kings we have. So then it starts choosing our worst aces to bluff. Right? And it starts with the single ace of spades everywhere, or the single 7 of spades when we have it type of thing here. Excuse me.
Trust me.
All right. Queen 10. Raise it up.
Bet.
Oh, this
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Easy.
We have a pair and they,
This feels like a mergey bet.
no, it's just a plain value bet.
I feel like
Okay.
3 something.
10 likes 3.
Actually, that seems reasonable. 3 is reasonable here.
Okay. Because you have the spade, you have extra equity. You want to size up a little here, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, it's not super connected. I mean, there's spades and then there's some straights with the higher cards. The 3 and 8 don't really connect, but the 8 and the queen kind of do. We have a spades. I think it just feels mergey to me. Like, I'm not sure here, so I kind of just go in between.
Oh,
Hmm.
so it just is this, I think the small bet makes sense. It can go really small, I
Yep.
guess, because
Yeah.
it is actually more disconnected compared to the other board. Like
Yeah,
if
like-
it was queen jack.
Yeah, like the
Queen.
odds of someone being able to make a straight here are pretty low. And we block the cards that can really hurt us with 10 in here. So when a bad card comes for us, it actually gives us equity with our queen often. And we have the queen of spades. And so all of these things are things
But I
that kind
think
of
it's-
drive down the pot because they give us extra protection.
But it's
Oh.
not necessarily bad EV wise, like you can just bet 2 or 3.
But
It doesn't
in
matter.
this type of spot, you kind of want to keep the fish on the line. Like it even chooses the even smaller bet than this.
Yeah, it likes the small bet.
I guess small bet makes more uncomfortable to float. We got
Oh,
raised, we call. I think
do
we
we just
call.
call?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we,
I think solver
Maybe
will raise a
without
little
a
bit, but I
spade?
don't think that he would ever raise mids.
You can raise your best queens without a spade, probably like ace, queen, no spade, king, queen, no spade.
yeah,
Okay.
I think we might even get to 3-bet queen jack, but I don't think queen 10 does. I think we can just call queen
Sorry,
10.
I missed your explanation, Larry. What was that you said?
I said, I think the solver might have some raises here, but I
Okay.
think against humans, it's generally a call.
I'll go with a 90% call, 10% raise.
Oh, yeah, you are just, I love when we have to put the money to the percentages here. And
Yep.
so you were just like crushing.
Yeah, you
That's
raise from
pretty
the
good.
top, you raise from the top down in these spots because they're polarized as well, right?
So it's queen jack like 70-30, and then king queen like
Not sure.
30 no, king queen would be like 30% call and 70% raise, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
This is the interesting spot because we continue to have top pair, got kicker, but we've turned additional equity.
I
He
think
is bet relatively small and non-polarized.
Yeah, I'm pure calling.
we just
is very
call. This is
interesting.
like the definition. I feel like it's a pure call, but this might be where like our better queens get to jam. But I don't know if we have that many jams in position, but I need to find
You're
them.
not
if we
gonna
do.
jam when the flush comes in, I don't think.
No, no. You can't jam this. No.
No, I said this is 100% call. We're talking about.
No,
if
I mean,
it's
I mean, you
negative
can't
and
jam a queen here. You can't jam any. You can't jam any just plain queen here.
99.9% call.
Yeah, Ivory Soap says 99.9% pure, and this call is 99.9%.
I said 100%, and then the solver's like, no,
All right.
you don't get to be correct.
Seems gross.
And I said, I don't give a crap. 99%,
Peter, you
99.9 and 100 are similar.
Peter, you crack me up and you must kill your kids with dad jokes.
Can we
Well,
deconstruct? I'm
I've
sorry.
been
Can
doing it for a while.
we deconstruct our
God
why
dang
we
it.
will call here?
Sorry,
We
what was
like
that, Larry?
having the queen of spades. We like our 10 of clubs isn't really valid. So
No.
but the queen of spades is important. I'm just trying to deconstruct how we build our bluff catching range.
So things that are attractive here are we beat almost all of his value because he's going to be 3-betting like king, queen, and ace queen for value here. So like the only queen that he's going to show up with better than us is queen jack. Or the 2 pair queens, right? He's going to have some of those. He's going to have some flushes here. He's going to have some sets, but we block the flush with our queen a little bit.
I don't think he
So-
has sets, doesn't he? He might have sets of eights, right? Doesn't he jam the small pairs? Pre-flop?
Oh yeah, yeah, against the button, he doesn't have any pairs, so he doesn't have any sets. So all he has is flushes and queen jack to beat us.
Queen eight, queen six.
This is one where I call
Queen
100%
six,
versus solver, and I fold 100% versus real people.
King, queen's in range probably. But yeah, you gotta call. Like, you just gotta call. It sucks, but you gotta call.
You gotta call and see the scam here. Louis would tell me that, Peter, you do not fold this top pair with 1 stacked up pot ratio. You gotta call it. And I'm like, but Louis, I know it's a scam.
It's the solver's folding
It's
19% of the time. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would say like if this is a like 33 and under, just fucking fold.
I'm still
Yeah,
calling.
we're gonna see.
And
There's
because didn't Louis also said that like if they can have better kicker than you with the queen,
yeah.
I mean better kicker than you, and also with the flush on board.
They don't have many better kickers if we
Also-
block the flush. Like, if I didn't have a queen of spades, maybe I could find folds in games against certain players, but you know.
No,
Yeah,
I
we-
mean I usually will call on the online sites.
Yeah, you can see even in this sim, like the call is pretty thin. It's a 0 EV call. And
But
so,
yeah, like basically the king queens are always calling, but then the queen 10 and the queen jack is gonna get scammed by king queen a lot. So and then also one thing is the river is a 6. I mean, I don't know if they raise that many 4-5s, but like 4 or 5 of like hearts. I don't know.
so
I
are
maybe
they ever
it's
here
maybe
with
the
4 or 5 of
straights.
hearts?
Maybe the straights is not that relevant as I thought. I thought maybe it might be a little relevant.
They are here with that one with both of these combos. They have
They
4 or
got 'em
5 of
all,
spades.
they
and
have all
4
the
or 5.
offsuits as well.
No, but
Yeah.
that they yeah. So
Yeah,
Oh,
but
just
it's
I
all
was
with a
saying
spade.
that
Right.
I was saying that like it's somewhat somewhat just a little, it makes it a little bit more. But it's mostly the flushes that we're worried about. I know we have a queen, but, and that makes it more of a call. But I would say that queen 10 and queen jack are already thin versus the solver, and then king queen, it's like, yeah, you put that money in. 'cause
Little
they
too.
still have worse queen.
All right, so we get this ace queen and we get stuffed on.
Oh, call.
All day call. 10 chips, do not fold. Ace jack, let's go.
I did this and saw ace king suited today.
I mean, a lot of times you're gonna run into ace king suited, but you're not folding there.
Okay, jack 10 rainbow paired board.
But you will if it's a live tournament versus
I
a
would bet
confirmed
2 on
old
this
man
particular
coffee.
flop. Instead of 1.2, I would bet 2.
Not Croftad, but an old man coffee that's not Croftad.
So
And then
paired
jam on
board,
you.
10 is good for us. Just 2.
Size down, is that correct?
Yep, so paired
It's gonna be
board,
small, but I think it's 2 this time instead of 1.2 because of the paired tens, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that
I think
sounds
Kip is
smart.
right.
Oh, still very small.
Still one big
Very
blind.
small.
Okay.
Uno mas.
You changed your move. Can we do that in game?
Yeah, right. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Time out. I didn't mean that. Give me my chips back. Hold on. Time out.
All right. 10, 6, 3, two-tone. King 9. Really no business. Not a lot of connectivity with this flop.
Got a straight
Is this-
draw. And
this a
over, I
one and
mean,
done?
Oh, frick. It's a small bet.
10, I think it's small. 3, 6, 10.
But
I
then
don't know.
if
It might be bigger. I think I'm fine either way.
81% check and 5 if you want
I
to.
never find a check there.
Is this flop a range check?
no,
Let's
it's
take
not
a
a
peek.
range check, but a king 9 with no suits, I guess you do have to have some give ups on this board, I guess, is what they're telling you. It's telling you, hey, you know what? You gotta tranquilo a bit. 42%
Every
check.
hits. Thanks,
Right.
Peter.
So you can see,
So it is a big bet
The-
board. You're correct.
yeah, the 9s and the 8s, and the 7s with these high cards, the ones in the middle want to do more checking. So our bigger ones want to bet more and our smaller ones want to bet more. And this is just one of those guys in the middle that just wants to check a lot.
This is a leak for me. I looked at my HUD after my year-end HUD thing on the flop today. I see about 80% from the button in position. I know it's just way too much.
Yep.
I
You're-
think that like it depends really what games you're playing in, but
But-
I think that if it is a leak,
You're right. Well,
you-
we can get away with it in low stakes, but it's gonna prevent me from moving up in stakes if I don't learn how to play it correctly. So I should probably be playing it correctly even in the low stakes to get it right to move up.
Yeah,
What was your
that's-
c-betting percentage? Sorry.
80%.
I think you're pretty close. I think aggregate
60.
c-bet button versus big blind is around 80%.
it's supposed to be like 75 or something.
Well, I didn't isolate versus big blind, so it's versus small blind and
Oh.
big blind. I could isolate it and say, might be, I don't know, it might be a little better.
I think we bet 80 aggregate against button versus big blind, 40.
Ooh. Think we have enough better stuff to call with.
Oh yeah, I'm folding.
Yeah.
Ooh, gross.
Oh, you know what? 75%. It turned out to 100%. It's 0 EV. We made
Here's-
0. Let's go.
It's calling because he's not supposed to be bluffing ace highs. He's not bluffing too many ace highs, so you beat all his other high card bluffs, but it's whatever.
Generally,
Yeah,
when it
he's
goes
just going
check,
for
check,
value.
check, whatever, then they bet, you have to find a lot more calls.
All right. King 10.
Bet 2 big ones.
Okay, we got this one pretty locked up. Even bets
Oh,
one.
it's small.
The
You're right.
GTO wizard seems like it's always just gonna use the smallest bet unless it's a dynamic board.
I guess
that
like
fa-
I
that
don't think
favors
it,
them.
when they have
Alright.
like 5 different sizings, then they're trying to construct a
Look at the
balanced
polarized
strategy
order here.
for 5 different sizings.
We could bomb this one, I think,
Yeah, I think it's 8. Let's go
at least
polarized.
6.
6.
I think at
Eight,
least 6.
well-
Oh, it's 8. Is it the blue and 8? I think
Blue
it's at
one's
least
8.
8 then.
Blue team, blue team.
Okay.
We don't have a heart either, so I think 8's really good.
8 and 8, 26. That's gonna be at almost a geometric jam for the river. So it's probably gonna be pretty good. But because it used it wanted to use the really small size a lot, I think it might also still want to use the really small size.
It'll polarize. It likes to polarize. So yeah, it goes bigger.
12.6.
I was gonna
Oh,
say,
I
if it's like
think
a
it's-
2, it
I
might
think
go
it's-
bigger.
I think it's because it's still draw, like the draw, more draw heavy, and we don't have a heart.
Yeah, we don't have a heart either. Which is
Yeah,
nice.
we
I
don't have
don't
a
know.
heart.
I still don't know when it chooses the overbet size or not. I don't think it matters too much. Stuff it.
Well, no. Oh. I was gonna say, what are we
Yeah.
trying to get called by?
The one hand that I
King
got
10.
correct.
A worse king, right? Or a 10 that has another heart, like 10 king of hearts or 10 queen.
Yeah, I guess the
With the
10's got a
queen of
call pot
hearts.
size bet. Yeah, it's about a pot size bet, right?
Yeah, it's just a bot. And we get the dose.
Darn.
All right, click.
Raising.
Oh,
Oh, I wanted to jam so I could say that we should call. I know a third
Alright.
big one we call the fours.
we learned enough now to just bet one with here.
I'm with you.
I think we should. Nah, I think we should put our arguments for why 5 is the correct answer.
5. We get check.
Yeah, we gotta
And we
expect
call,
that.
we
so
call, we have pair.
We can't call fast enough. Get it in there. Uh-oh, check raise,
Yeah,
check.
I am bluffing now.
I'm gonna bet because I don't support his check raise check. He should
Yeah.
be check raise checking kings, but
So it's a
Ye-
paired, if it wasn't a paired board, I would go a lot bigger. So, but on a paired board, I think I like your 6 there, Peter, I think.
let's do it.
Okay, it might even have some 3.5s here too. Nope,
That's this. Oh,
It
we
does
just
do
checked.
this.
Why?
or it checks.
Oh, I think the solver just wants us to be wrong. They want to say like Ken Keppel, you cannot just bet every time. The
Yeah, Ken.
solver is balanced.
Yes, it
But you
is,
take
but
the-
it's not as
but you
balanced as
take
it
the
should
money.
be. And that's,
Check back.
well, we gotta beat that 5.
Wait, we're
So
thinking about
I'm
it.
bombing it.
Do we really
You wanna
have
go all in here, Ken?
Yes, I do.
I think it's a check.
I'm bluffing.
I
That's
feel like we
spicy.
don't have to. I feel like we have like other.
If I had a
Combos.
spade, I wouldn't go all in, but without a spade, I'm bombing it.
Don't we have Queen Jack? Queen ten, like Queen. We have
So
so many
you're-
Queen highs that we had to call. We're
you're-
forcibly forced to call, right?
You're just trying to get a 5 to fold, right, Ken?
I don't know what I don't know. What I'm trying to do is if I have if I have a spade, I'll probably bluff smaller. If without a spade, I'm gonna bomb it.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna bomb it just to see what grade we get now.
We will bomb it, but I think I'm probably just gonna give up.
He's got two
I
spades.
think check.
We
is
got
the
showdown
correct
and
answer.
check. Yeah, we got showdown.
I know, check is the correct answer. I just wanted to.
Well, yeah, what pairs does he even
I
have?
just wanted to mess
Hit
up.
an ace,
I just
I gotta
wanted
get
to-
that ace 5 to fold and yeah, that's it though, right? So it's
I wanted
bad.
to mess up Peter's GTO score by
Oh,
copying.
you were close. Look at that.
Ken's
Oh, the 5s are
answer.
full house. Twos,
Yeah.
full house.
So all of the pairs just want to check down right up to pocket
Yeah, I
queen.
told you we have so much. Well, we get the bluff with a lot of
So
the.
like 6-4, 7-4, ace-4, so 4
we're
should be
not-
in there some.
We're not bluffing all of our queen highs. I'm quitting poker.
We are not.
What? Because I
We
guess
are-
the bottom of our range is jack deuce 10 and then our 10 highs since we have so many. Wait, no, 10s are trip.
Tens are the value.
So our 9 highs
Yep, so
Alright,
97, 98, 86, 76, all
losing
of
my
these want to bluff.
I'm losing my shit with pocket.
And our
twos
ace
pocket
highs are
fours.
checking back.
Yeah, our ace
And our
size just
queen
have
highs are,
showdown.
a lot of our queen highs are checking back. And a lot of our
Yeah.
basically we're not bluffing as much, cause I guess so we're not even going crazy. I think, oh, we got check raise on the flop, so we can't go crazy. Because we're actually not, we're not asymmetric at all, actually.
Yeah, like we're even checking back some of these kings and look at this value, right? Like it earns 23 chips.
Yeah, a
It's
lot
checking.
of times I learned from the trainer that a lot of times just check, like, checking back these showdown hands is actually the best EV play. Because we're only getting called by better. Like
But it
what's
would've worked
calling,
for
if
you, Ken.
if you bet king deuce, what's calling you? And if you bet like half pot or something, which can get called by worse, then and they jam in your face and you have king deuce, you're like, bull, this is mother, like,
Yep.
So
Standard
yeah.
bottom of range, king 8, right? We're opening our offsuit 8s. So I think we'll do a couple more here.
I think I
Ooh.
want to go all in it and ruin my EV.
Oh,
wanna ruin
gee,
your-
even.
I want to ruin.
If you put all your chips in here, you're just putting 3 big blinds in the wood chipper.
I said I wanted to ruin your EV in your score.
Now you
Call.
can put them all in.
Now
No,
we
We have a
call.
slow play.
Gotta keep the
Oh.
fish on the line. Gotta just flat with aces, kings, and queens, and 10s, 9s, and 8s. Like the jacks are the only ones that
Yeah.
want to run their equity here.
Yeah, but now they're gonna flop queen 3 or jack 3.
Why is it paired board? We're gonna wait. They check to us.
So, do we immediately think geometric here?
Well, I think we only need 2 streets to get it in, so I'm checking.
Yeah,
But
a
we don't
3-bet
even have a
pot.
spade.
I think we start betting.
You're not gonna give them the disrespectful bet.
Nope.
I
Okay,
don't
Eric.
know. But I
Call
think
the
we
move.
we check kings with a spade for sure. But like, I don't know. Like
I'm giving them the
betting is good.
disrespectful
I'd rather
bet.
bet a king with a spade.
Okay,
Oh my gosh, it's one of those spots where we can do whatever we want.
2 big blinds. I never find it. That's why I just check. Like, I don't have that in my game, honestly. I probably should learn it.
yeah, you just push your thin value here with the
I
fact
think
that
it's
you have
'cause-
aces, kings, and queens.
What I find interesting here is the smaller our pairs, the more we bet. I guess it's more protection.
Yeah, it's reverse hierarchical
Off
for
the
sure
tens.
because they need a lot of protection versus the kings don't. The aces are checking a lot because they're hoping that they find something on the flop or the turn, but the king still needs a little bit of protection. But
Look at that
also,
spicy 3-bet.
it's not spicy. This is what I'm missing. This is what I got yelled at. This is, I can't fucking play poker because I don't 3-bet it. I don't make those 3-bets.
Don't worry, all of you guys who are out there with your 5% 3-bets, month and a half from now, you'll be going nuts.
Mine
Hey,
6. I
my
got 6.
3-bet percentages are amazing, except for from the big blind.
All right.
It's because I guess I play too many tables and click the call button.
What should it be at? 9, 10? Your 3 bets?
You're
yeah.
supposed to be 3-betting 17% versus the big blind and cutoff. I mean,
Oh.
when you're in the big blind, you need to be 3-betting 17% versus steal, which is versus the button and the cutoff. You need to be 3-betting 17%, and I'm only 3-betting 11% from the big blind.
I mean,
Yeah.
overall though, when it shows on,
I
Bet
think
by
probably
minimum of
7
8.
and 10%.
okay.
My 3-betting
8 to
stats
12.
were okay. It's the when I'm calling a 3-bet and getting c-bet. When somebody c-bets and I fold my king jack on that board and it's ace high board and I fold king jack and the solver's like, you're not supposed to fold that hand. You need to clear an MDF. And I'm like, well,
I'm 13.5 from the big blind versus steel Viv.
So when you're in the big
you're
blind
higher than me
defending
'cause
against
I'm
the
only at
button raise here,
11
you
No,
can
I'm
add
at
these 2
13.
together,
or 11 or
5
12.
and 12, and you get like 18% 3-bets from the big blind. Right? And it's so easy just to click in one chip and just never find these 3 bets. But you're just making your opponent's life easy.
At 40, let me see what I am at 40. Curious now. Oh, I got filters on.
And then that's where like you can make some chips when you 3-bet from the big blind.
Ooh, check raise.
So I don't think we
Alright.
get to fold.
You're right. We saw this earlier. We have 2 overs and the back door. And
This is
he just
actually
doesn't
this
have
is
a lot of
actually
pair.
good review for me because I've been knitting it up in these spots sometimes. It just, you know,
He comes out with a big polarized bet on a rainbow texture.
fold.
Out.
Check it out. And look at him hit it, drill it like a fish.
Wait, he raised us with Jack 9?
He raised us with Jack 9 on deuce 7.
Fudging.
Spicy.
I'm done. I like it. I need to start punking people. I'm waiting. I'm gonna right
Do we
now.
get to
this is-
size up on these paired boards with ace X?
Hmm.
Cause I've seen that heuristic enter.
We'll take a look at the range here after we make a decision. Are we gonna bet 1, 2, or 3?
I think
One.
it's 2.
Okay. We hear some 1, we hear some 2, we hear some 3.
It's 1 big blind. Get the forge out of here. Stop playing around.
Primarily
Thank
1.
you. And you can also bet 2.
If you had 3 aces, what's the guy gonna call with if you bet more than 1 big blind?
That's a good point.
Right? Like the problem is, it's just hard to do anything here other than bet 1 big blind.
So,
So-
Mr. Vanderspeck said to keep the fish on the line.
Keep the fish on the line. Yeah, and you can see there's just no checking here, right? We're just betting 75% of our range, 1 or 2 big blinds, and then a little bit of sizing up based on our worst hands, which are going to be hands that have like 9s and 8s and 7s, which just have no chance of getting air. And so the worst of the worst, 10, 6, and Jack 6, you can even see that it sizes up a little bit with the Jack 6 of clubs, which doesn't even have a back door. Right? Straight backdoor flush to make. So the worst hands you get to size up a little bit, which also means the best hands you get to size up a little bit. So ace queen, right? Clubs, ace queen of spades, whenever you have an ace here, you get a little bit of sizing
That's so cool.
up. And he just folds. All right, we'll do 1 or 2 more. E6. Very easy raise. Lappen Sie flush.
Bet two.
Large. I like large, but large meaning I guess 5 is our large size at 40 big blinds then. Or maybe
Okay.
no, maybe we do large size with our worst flushes and check this one.
2?
Or we could also bet 2 and say call it a day, but I think that's I think it's between check and bet big, but I think it's also mostly check because we have an ace high
Think 2.
flush. But I
So I
think
hear
big
some
bet
2s.
is a big part of our range.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard to get 40 big blinds in on 2 streets, but our hand is so strong. I think I want to bet. I'm going to have some checks, but it's going to be low frequency. I'm going to have a primary frequency of bet 2 with a little bit of bet 1. Oh,
Oh,
primary frequency of
big.
5.
I told you big bet. If
Go
we're
big.
betting, it's gonna be
Yeah.
big.
Little bit of check and a lot of big bet.
I wonder why this is a
Yeah, I
polarizing
think
board,
we-
or if this is.
We want to check when we have an over, like, 2 over cards.
And I guess we got a backdoor straight there too.
So the dangler makes us more likely to want to bet. I know we do the ace high flushes. A lot of them are
But
betting.
these-
I mean, are checking. Some of them are.
So this board is polarizing board, but I don't know. Maybe it's because it's all low cards.
So this is what our flushes want to.
Yeah, so the pattern is we start checking as we don't have a dangler. And
Yeah,
then I
this-
get,
The 7 wants to check because of the pair,
yeah,
and these ones block too much of the high cards, so they want to check. Right? They block.
I think it's because we do need to have some ace
then the-
X's, ace high flushes too, when we check. So we
Yeah.
pick the ones that have overcards and then aren't so connected. Like ace 10 though is like a direct. Ace 10 is like the computer said that you can do whatever.
Come on, uncheck.
I think the way Affleck says it is if you have ace king suited there, you're blocking them from having a king high flush draw, and you want
That's
them to
right.
have.
Yeah, I guess the king high and queen high flush draws, you're trying to cooler as well.
Yeah, so it checks the king, queen of spades, the ace, queen of spades, and the ace, king of spades, but less with the ace, king of spades, because ace, king is just the best non-paired hand. It wants to bet for value a bit there.
Mhm.
Right?
That's
So
cool.
We give it the
But-
5-er.
But so it's like more of a mix. So you can't mix your way out every time to check.
So the classic rule is equities.
I think this is a good check, but I think it can bet as well. But I think it's just too strong that we don't want to get like punched out of it. So I think it will check a reasonable frequency, but I think it can also we don't have a range advantage when this happens.
So we picked
I
up
don't
equity.
hate betting either.
We bet polar on the flop. So it's either gonna check or pick one of these red sizes, I think. So I think it's gonna primarily check and low frequency red size bet.
Yeah, we don't want to bet small and then get punked off of our equity. Check, or the correct was 13. I was thinking 13
Yep.
would be fine. As it's still fairly polarizing and lets us get our money in on the river. It doesn't like checking.
It does
So,
not
I
like
mean,
checking.
it feels like, yeah, I mean, because I feel like maybe it's too, like, we don't need to just, ripping it is just like the wrong ratio, like, because we don't have such of a nut advantage that we're allowed to use that size. But when you go 13, it's,
Hello.
Well, there's only one thing to do now.
yeah, man, we just made 4,400
Oh,
big blinds per 100. Wait,
best feeling in the world.
my EV.
We got
What
super
happened?
coolered.
We were supposed to make 4,400 big blinds per 100 there.
That couldn't be the 5 of spades.
Yeah, not
And
so
then
much.
this happened.
Yep, super coolered.
It's
Look at him
better to
check
get
the nuts like a
coolered. It's
pro.
better. We're saving our luck for the
Yeah.
high buy-ins. Right now we're playing the trainer. So we're gonna get cooler on the trainer. So we have so we're the one cooler and the other person in the high buy-ins on Sunday, right? We're gonna
Let's
have
hope
the
so.
Jack 10 on Sunday, guys.
So I think
That's
we'll wrap
the
up here
plan.
for tonight. Thanks to everyone for popping by and enjoying the study session. I hope that you find some good value out of it. We have a Discord group that we all get together with and study Monday, Wednesday, Friday with my friends Louis Philippe, on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday with God's Big Toe and Crazy Sixes, myself on Monday evenings. And of course, all of these videos are on YouTube at slippery_rock99, 19 subscribers, and a shout out to my friend Louis Philippe, who just eclipsed 500 subscribers and has tons of wonderful content here. If you're interested in any of this, by all means, check us out on YouTube. And thanks for coming by and checking us out. We will
Thank you,
see
Peter. Much
everyone next
appreciate your
week.
time. Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.